Hi Erica, it's Connor. I just watched your affirmative speech again, and I enjoyed listening to it and hearing everything that you had to say and all your points you had to make, as well as meeting up with you last week to do the cross examination and me allowing me to ask you questions and for your answers. So I appreciate that. And today I'll be giving the negative speech for the resolution why the United States should significantly reduce their role of Latin Command in Southern America. Basically, you made some good points, and now I'm going to be delivering the opposite of that. So basically, WISC, or the Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Cooperations, you argued was more of like a negative thing and had a lot of negative aspects to it. However, I saw a lot of positive aspects in my research. We've argued the first issue that it increases our relations with our neighboring countries and those countries in South America as well. So essentially, we're becoming more united with these countries. We're becoming closer with them and creating sort of a bond that we wouldn't normally have unless we all kind of met in this way. From one article I was reading, titled "The Army Reserve Officer Reflects on Positive Experience at WISC," written by Captain Mary Jane Felfala Porter, on June 6, 2012. He stated, "It was a great opportunity to share military and personal experiences in an educational environment with officers from other countries and services. I learned how to operate in a joint and combined environment, learned how officers from other countries conduct operations, and got to travel abroad to participate in training events." So that's a quote coming from an officer directly involved in the day-to-day operations of WISC. He spent an entire year there involved in meeting with all these people and training officers from all parts of South America and the Americas, and he's saying how positive of an experience it was and how positive of an experience he had. So maybe the media is making these massive stories about the negatives of it. However, an officer that was directly involved is listing the positive outcomes of it. And basically, the Institute's main mission is to provide professional education and training to the military, law enforcement, and civilians of the Western Hemisphere within the context of the democratic principles of the Organization of American States. So basically, that's a statement from WISC, and it's talking about how basically what WISC is trying to do is to train people from other countries to be able to defend themselves and restore order in those countries. WISC, it fosters mutual knowledge, transparency, confidence, and cooperation among all the nations that participate, and it promotes democratic values, respect for human rights, and knowledge and understanding of United States customs and our traditions. So basically, it's kind of educating everyone on how we do things and giving them everyone an opportunity to become closer and to engage with each other. Another quote from that same officer in that same article that I just stated he said, "It's the opportunity to share diversity and camaraderie that is developed during the course of a year that lasts a lifetime." So he's basically saying in this article how he still is in touch with some of the people he was in class with, and it creates kind of a bond and a positive experience. Moving on, our second point is that without WISC, there would be a lot more issues than that we can't really measure because we do have WISC, but without it, there would be a lot more issues in these countries alone. Every now and then, that you do hear the story of someone, which you mentioned, returning home and causing problems in their respective countries. But the majority of it, it's used to restore order in these countries. So basically, you're not going to hear about the time someone goes back after being trained at WISC and sets up structure and helps out in their community, in their country, in their cities, or stops a big incident. But you're going to hear about the time when they go back and terrorize and whatnot. And it's also like the way we look at it is, I don't think it's the United States' fault. What we're doing is we're training them, we're giving them everything they need to be successful. We're basically giving them everything they need to establish law and order in their country. And if they go back and are using it for negative purposes, then that's not on us, or it's not on WISC. It's on the program itself. It's on them. So basically, when the WISC website states that no school should be held accountable for the actions of its graduates. Furthermore, one example that I was thinking of, if you go to one of the best schools in the nation, say Harvard, for example, and you get a business degree from there, and you go and use that business degree and the business strategies you learn to start, say, a massive, drug dealing network or something of those sorts, it's not the school's fault for teaching you those things. It's your fault for going out and doing that. Furthermore, moving on, I noticed you made a point in your speech that it's negative because it teaches torture. And basically my combat to that is it doesn't teach torture because it teaches U.S. Army doctrine and the things that we teach our military, which is based on 200 years of success and includes a variety of military subjects, none of which include criminal misconduct or breaking the law. What it does include, though, is it's everything that we teach our military. So it gives them, the opportunity to learn how to operate guns, to learn military strategies. So we're basically teaching them everything we teach our military. We're not teaching them to go out there and torture or go out there and cause problems. And if you're saying that's what we are teaching our military as well, that's a bigger argument and something that could be debated, but it is also different. As well as my final point that I found today is it creates American jobs. So Fort Benning, which is where WISC is located, supports more than 120,000 active duty military, family members, reserve component soldiers, retirees, and civilian employees on a daily basis. So if you just eliminate WISC, you're pretty much like unemploying and creating like a nowhere for these 120,000 people to live, which is a pretty large number. So basically it's important in a lot of different aspects. So thank you very much for listening to my negative, and I hope to hear back from you soon.